my Bookhos, and welcome to a fun little review episode today. You've already seen my Stash Buster video, which talks about how in the next year, in 2024, I will continue to spend time thinking thoughtfully about my stash, using it and gifting it, destashing, doing swaps, all those things that try to help me, not only make time and have reasons to be more creative, but also to really think consciously about the things that I'm using, the materials I'm getting, and materials that, are coming in and out of this space. Today is going to be a fun review episode where I just go over all of my projects for 2023. And the way that I talk about it is less of like a countdown and more of just like a kind of buckets of things I did for school, for different projects, and like some trip stuff too, because I think that was really important for my year that I did have. Without further ado, let's just get into it. Let's see all the things that I made this year. Let's start this review by talking about my amazing, incredible once-in-a-lifetime trip on my little honeymoon, which took place in Bath, London, Edinburgh, and it was very much highlighted by my special one-day class at the Royal School of Needlework, which was amazing. You can see my sampler. But I also did other things that like worked throughout the year around this kind of inspiration point. So I took a couple of online classes and I got some kits that you're seeing here, and it was just like a really great experience. It really sparked my love of other things. I also have a bunch of unfinished samplers from classes that I intend to try to finish as soon as possible. But you can see here are some highlights from, I guess, my forays into needlework. Okay, so now we're moving into this pile of fabric that will become my senior thesis collection. So I guess to explain all this for those who haven't been watching, I was going to community college taking fashion classes for fun, and one of the things offered from that community college was a scholarship to Academy of Art University. It pays for 4 years of school, undergrad or master's degree, and all you had to do was fulfill like a bunch of requirements, obviously required classes and then presentations and all these things. And the other thing was you make a collection. So it was a 5-look collection, obviously with multiple pieces. This is one of the reasons I'm not doing like a piece by piece kind of countdown this year, unlike other years of the things that I did, because this was a lot of work. And there were a lot of pieces involved in it, from like, honestly, the individual lace work that I had to make to, every single part of it, the undershirts, the over things, the accessories, like the little like beadwork, goldwork pen that I made myself. So like there's a ton happening in these pieces, and they're inspired by the arts and crafts movement and Dungeons and Dragons, and I have a whole video on it if you didn't get to watch it. But this was a huge labor of like love and also I guess hope in saying like what would a scholarship to Academy of Art mean for me. But this was also the culmination of a lot of other things that I'd been doing in school, right? So, and all on my own, I guess. Like, I should give credit to the things I did on my own. But, the patterning, the learning how to pattern, the ability to construct things in a much more complicated and professional way, I think were all really important to me getting to this point, and getting this scholarship. So like in a second I will show you the things that I have done with my scholarship, but for now I just wanted to show you highlights and clips of this because this was something that I worked for many months on, and had to execute on like a less than 6 month timetable. I think it was like, I think I pitched this in October or November. I don't even remember. It might have been sooner than that. Like it might have been like December. Oh wow, I think I signed up in October and I had to pitch it in December of 2022, but I didn't actually get all the stuff to make this until 2023 because that's just kind of how things are. So yeah, enjoy this little throwback to that, but watch the whole video if you want to see more about my designs and why I went for these things and all the things that went into it. I am obviously most proud of just like finishing this, and my lacework designs personally. There's a lot of handwork in all this because of the arts and crafts movement. But it's just, it's so nice. I'm so proud of myself. And I did it. I won. I won a scholarship and I'm going to school. And it's like fully paid for, except for the supplies and occasional lab fees. So, yay! I did want to share some other highlights from my community college fashion classes and maybe give a little bit of like a tidbit on how to make things work for costume design stuff. I had a class that was really centered on fashion design, kind of like season by season, fast fashion-y for the runway stuff. But I decided to make my final, and I asked permission for this, about like designing costumes for a specific production. So I chose Northanger Abbey. But you can see here other illustrations that I did as well. This was a lot of practicing that I did over that timetable of just like learning how to draw the like 9-head figure, and also you can see like my attempts to like replicate Guo pieces here, but it was just a lot of learning how to draw human figures and using the materials that we had. I'm obviously not amazing at it, and I think that there was at least the gem of I learned enough from this that I feel like I got way better at my digital drawings. So all that to say, don't give up. Keep working. It's a hard thing. It's a very hard thing if you haven't had any practice and you're new to it, and you're new to all the kind of materials. But you can, slowly get better. I did another scholarship thing that I did not win. It was a Macy's Upstyle thing where we took a bunch of sample clothes from them, cut it up, and we made a new outfit. Even though I did take apart a whole children's sweater, and honestly, it was mostly children's clothes for all of this, I did not win anything. And I mean, I'm kind of just mostly glad about the process. I think that there were parts of the scholarship that were just like not run very well personally. Not a lot of mentorship happened. I felt like Macy's was getting more from this partnership and being able to be like, look at the sustainability stuff we're doing, while still making way too many clothes and having really shady ethical discussions about just the way their clothes are made. Anyway, other upcycling things I had to do for other classes: a little bag, a little basic zipper pouch. I turned a whole pile of t-shirts into a thing for Frank to wear, and I also turned a bunch of jeans into like this kind of Henrican Tudor inspired jacket situation, which was fun and silly. We are now moving into my grad school phase of everything. So I guess one of the big projects has been jewelry making stuff. So I made a jeweler's bench. I do want to do a whole extra video on like what it's been like learning how to make jewelry. And like using tons of fire and hammers and stuff, which is such a different thing than sewing. But yeah, we found an abandoned table and made it into my workspace for the year. And you can see, like, I've just been working on stuff, from working on, like, getting used to the supplies and cutting, to making really cool class assignments and chains, which I fully intend to make chainmail. That is 100% on my list of things, of, like, big goals, big dreams I want to achieve. Other things that were happening, I mean, there were just like a ton of little things that I did for class, right? Like learning how to soldering different shapes, soldering, different pieces of metal together, different ways of soldering, different cold connections, different ways to bend metal, different ways and best practices around just like everything around metalworking, silversmithing, all that stuff. There was also time where we were doing, we did a little bit of wax stuff, and I still have so much wax stuff left from that. And so we used a caster. I used a caster in San Francisco. I will put their information in my description if you need a caster. It was like a 2-day turnaround. Like I didn't even pay extra. It was so fast because this person just constantly has intake. And that really worked out for me. And I made like a little signet ring for myself. But you can see I also did a bunch of stuff around a specific project called A Letter to My Rabbit, which was the theme for my midterm. And then I used it as a theme for my final. And so I spent a lot of time doing kind of stamps and envelopes and using things from like my walks around my neighborhood and hikes that my bunnies can't go on, and like making these kind of like these jewelry examples of letters, I guess, and postcards and stuff. I don't know. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of just trying to be really creative. I don't know what else to say other than like it took a lot of brain power for me. I feel like I'm not the greatest jewelry designer, and it was a lot of effort for me to adjust my brain into thinking about like how to make these kind of visions and ideas into a reality, if that makes sense. So costume design was obviously the like biggest, probably most important class that I was taking. It was like fulfilling and just like I could almost cry right now. Like every way, shape, and form. I didn't realize how much I needed this. I didn't realize how much I wanted this. Yeah, I had a great time. I feel really fulfilled. I feel really inspired and excited about what's to come. And you can see just some highlights here, some sketching, some renderings that I did for some of my things. I need to do some catch-up videos because I've not shared what I did for Trojan Barbie or for my Oscar Wilde project, but it was just, I can't say enough about the incredibleness that is getting to do costume design. Yeah. Okay, so sketches aside, other things that I worked on through the year. I did not really take any photos or do much about this, but one big project I had, which I think like took up 12 yards of fabric, was recovering a bunch of cushions for my in-laws. They are generously like living with my grandma and helping take care of her and just watch over her, which is a nice situation, but also like I get that this is an ancient house that has ancient things, and so I remade a bunch of these cushions that were like probably have been out there since the 70s, if not the 80s. Yeah, so that took up a ton of fabric. Moving on to other fun little projects. I made, inspired by some Victorian magazines, a little seashell sewing kit, which was great fun, very silly. You can get the DIY now. It is its own video. But this was just a fun little thing using some stuff I had on hand and a bunch of hot glue. So, you know, use up those felt or wool scraps and get some shells and make yourself a little cutesy sewing kit for the summer. I also got deep into Halloween excitingness. Oh man, like we've played like so much Strahd, so like my life has been like so deeply invested in vampire things for so long. So I've been inspired to make this little batwing bow, and then I finally used some Halloween fabric I had, copying a vintage thing that I got over summer break, and I used that to make this really so silly Halloween dress for my birthday. So I finally used this metallic pumpkin fabric that I got from Fabrics, which is a dead stock fabric place in San Francisco. I got this years ago. I got this, I feel like maybe 2019. It might have been 2019. And I've just had it, and I'm just like, I gotta do something with it. And now I feel more confident sewing with knits, so I did that. And it was just a delight. It's very silly and like 80s, almost 30s, 80s as 30s, I feel like. But it's fun and it's very cozy. What is Halloween without witches' hats? I used a free pattern and made not one but two witches' hats for myself because why not? Now, this is a fun thing that I did at the beginning of the year that I really don't have much documentation of, except for the wonderful photos Mama Rainbows took. This was just a matching plaid monstrosity that I made for the McQueen exhibit. We did a little visit to it when it was in Sacramento early this year. It was amazing. Thank you, Mama Rainbows, for documenting my absolute silliness on the runway. Okay, you've seen this fabric before. It is just an IKEA duvet set because it was very arts and craftsy. I made the same dress that I made for my first semester of finals. I used the same pattern, just made new sleeves. I used that to make this beautiful dress for me for the summer. I don't know what else to say other than I didn't really record much of it. I took a couple photos, but it's just a cute summer floral dress. Relatedly, I have another IKEA duvet set that I also made into a lovely little summer dress for myself. I call this my little like princess dress, my like not silky but like unseelie court dress, if you will. I don't know. I'm down to wear the bedsheet dress, you know. Oh, yes. I also got into some fabric dyeing. So we did some indigo dyeing using a little indigo kit. And used like rubber bands and stuff to make these resists for this. It was really fun, and these became gifts for family. Oh, yeah, I dyed in muslin denim pant that I made. That was fun. I'm trying to get better about sketching the pieces that I'm envisioning before making them, just as a practice for costume design stuff. So you can see here my Victorian witch pattern situation. I need to take better photos of it, obviously. And then I turned a tablecloth, a vintage 50s tablecloth, which I think it was just fabric that everyone made into a tablecloth at the time. I made into a wonderful little Christmas dress for myself. Right after finals, which wrapped December 23rd. I proudly used a bunch of fabric that we got at a fabric swap for this wonderful little vintage swing coat. And I love it. I think it's so silly. It is Oogie Boogie Get the Job interview, as I'm calling it. I need to modify the pattern, and then I might make another swing jacket out of it and maybe make a video about that. But for now, it is just a fun little project for me. So the Ever After project, which was on hold because of the writer's strike and the actor's strike, because I do not want to be posting stuff around any kind of movies or anything around that. And also then Drew Barrymore was a scab, so that was really upsetting. But I know that Danielle de Barbarac would never be a scab. So this was a project I started early in the year. You can see videos that I have about making Frank and myself these white under things. And I need to edit all of the stuff around actually making my little Italian gown, my Italian Renaissance gown for Danielle. It was beautiful. I think it came together beautifully despite a couple of chaos things that I did. I think it looks beautiful. I need to take more photos of it. I also need to finish Frank's whams. So all this was called Whamageddon because I'm trying to make him whams. And like I will talk in his videos about like the wins, the failures, the modifications that I did make to his stuff, because I did not get it ready in time for like a little museum thing that we did, but I do want to finish it soon. I do want to finish it. Just might not happen today. And I'm going to end here with things to come. So I drafted this purse, this Regency purse thing early in the year and have not gotten around to it. As mentioned in my Christmas Carol video, I have an unfinished goldwork sampler for the Royal School of Needlework online class that I have not finished. And that's not great, now is it? I have started cutting my Christmas Josefina outfit because I realized that I had some fabric in my stash that might just work for a very pieced look inspired by her look. And ending on a note of things to come. I want to make my little Victorian tea dress thing that I designed. One day you will be mine. The taste of sweet success. I want to say that like one of the reasons that I did this year as a kind of more summary culmination of like certain projects and things or buckets is because like I don't want people to think that they have to measure themselves by like my dress form, like by all the things that I get done here, right? I'm just showing like these are the projects I did. I'm proud of them, but like you should be proud of all the things that you did, even if you didn't do like the volume or whatever goal you set for yourself. Like you still did things, and even if you didn't do things, like hey, shit happens, man. Like it's okay. I am extremely motivated by two things. One, which is school. Deadlines are a huge motivator. And the other thing is, honestly, the Stash Buster making me want to get through my stash and be like, I brought these things for projects that didn't have deadlines. Let's make them. Let's actually do them this time and not just have these wavering. It'll happen sometime when I feel like it. So I say, in the new year, find things that work for you. And I can't wait to take you on another year of making fun things. I still have to have my videos for all of my ever after making stuff, and maybe the Josefina stuff will be coming next, depending on how much cleaning I get done today. But I just want to say, like, the year is ahead. It is new. It is fresh. Let's go get it, friends. Let's do the things that we want to do. Let's not set goals that feel overwhelming to us. That's why the Stash Buster worked for me, because it was about the materials and intentionally using that versus being like, I have to make 10 dresses this year. I have to XYZ amount of things. To me, it was very much a chill, hey, we gotta work through all this stuff. We know we're gonna have to work through it for class stuff too. Maybe for you, I know that I've got like big anniversaries or big gifts to make people. Whatever works for you, just find the joy and like don't put pressure on yourself that's going to make things not fun, because I think that is a really easy trap to get into when you're in the crafting and sewing space. I want to thank my patrons. You got the first look at all of my projects this year. You get the first look at like even this review video. So if you want to join my Patreon, check it out, look at the tiers, and just, there is a Discord related to that. So you will also see in the Discord previews of projects I'm working on, or even like talking about the projects and asking for feedback, or what y'all thinking about fabrics, all that stuff. I hope to see you in the new year. I hope to continue to see you supporting not only like me, but like each other, because I think that's been really, really cool to see. And I hope to finally use up all my wool. Maybe that will be my like singular Stash Buster, like use this first goal for the year. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me, and don't forget to make it so.